Everybody. So we warmly welcome you all to the last session of the PGO Week workshop, which is titled as Effective Monitoring Tools ArcGIS Dashboard. This topic will be covered under two main areas: importance of the GIS-based monitoring applications and ArcGIS dashboards. So I will hand over the session now to GIS Solutions Private Limited team to continue the session from here onwards.
Okay, thank you very much. Can all of you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible enough.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so today we are going to conduct the, I think the last session from this for this pre-workshop series. So today we are going to discuss one of the important topics in GIS. Actually, it's GIS, when we are using GIS as a kind of a monitoring tool to monitor various things. For example, monitoring the data collection workflows. Yesterday, we learned about certain data collection apps or the digital forms. So when we collect data like that way, we should monitor that. Otherwise, it will be difficult to identify the data collection, the progress of that. So likewise, there are different requirements for dashboards. So it's kind of a single screen view. So first we will discuss some of the theoretical things, some capabilities, and then we will move into the kind of user examples. And also it is not only from Sri Lanka, some other countries also, some user dashboards, kind of live user sites. So there's a gallery of dashboards around the world. So I would like to go through certain dashboards there. And then we will try to create our own dashboard, right? So then you will realize the method of creating a dashboard. So we hope to cover those things. So first of all, I would like to share my screen. Okay, I think you all can see the screen, right? Okay, so this kind of dashboard, what is the meaning of a dashboard? Actually, it is kind of a mechanism to convey information, right? So in this kind of GIS dashboard, we always use the location base, or the locations as the primary component. So there are different types of dashboards. There are different types of software platforms with dashboards. But in GIS dashboard, we always want to highlight the location component. So definitely there should be a map. There are dashboards without maps also, but the key component is visualizing data on the map. And also, it is not a static thing, right? It is fully interactive data visualization platform. And also the beauty of dashboard is it's kind of a single screen view. So the single screen meaning we can have kind of an information at once, kind of at a glance view, right? So that kind of experience you will get from the dashboards. So here you can see kind of a screenshot of a dashboard, but we can always look at certain dashboards. So easy to understand. Dashboards kind of visual displays. So not very complicated. So there are complicated ones, but it should be able to tell you a message in a quick manner, right? So in a single screen, maybe different graphs, different kind of indicators, we should be able to give an idea within few minutes. So that should be the objective of a particular dashboard. So it should have the quality of easy to understand for the users. So it can depend on the user crowd also. Sometimes if you are creating a dashboard for public users, it should be very simple. But sometimes maybe certain inside the organization, maybe certain groups, if you are giving a dashboard, maybe you may have to use certain complex things also with the dashboard. However, it should give you overall summary of that particular activity or phenomena, whatever the thing. So we will go to one dashboard first. So I will share my screen a little. So let me. Okay. So can you see this dashboard? I have used this before. Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this dashboard, so here you can see in the middle, the section here, there's a map. So this map is kind of an interactive map. So it is not a static map, right? So here you can see, you can take it here and there. That means you can pan that, you can zoom in, right? You can zoom out. So it's kind of an interactive, it's not a static map, right? So one feature, there should be a kind of a map in a GIS-based dashboard. So it could be one map or many maps here at the bottom of this dashboard. So I would like to share this link with you, and you can get the idea also. So this one, there are several tabs at the bottom, right? You can see several tabs. So these tabs, sometimes when we have so many information, even we can use and organize them into the same view, right? Here you can see another set of information. Here, likewise, there are several tabs. So this is this dashboard representing the COVID-19 distribution in the world, the global distribution. And also here you can see some other things, not only the map, you can see something like this. And some other indicators, right? Numbers, right? Different items. So these things we call widgets. Widgets means kind of a small panel. It has particular purpose, different capability. So this widget, here you can see a widget. Here, this is indicating a number. This is again indicating a number. So we call this kind of a widget indicator. Actually, it is indicating a number. And when people entering data, or even automatically, or the automated ways are there to integrate data, right? When data is integrated, then the values are changing. So these things are captured from various attribute tables. So the indicator can be used as kind of you can even change the color of an indicator according to a particular level. Imagine you are having a dashboard of water levels, flood levels. So when the flood is increasing, this indicator color and appearance can be changed according to that, right? So there are things like that. Some kind of a interactivity can be always taken into these widgets. So there are several widgets like that. Then you will find something like this. Those widgets, those are like charts or histograms. So when we want to take some ideas, so this type of charts are useful. So that's why these widgets are configured here. And this side, you can see a list of information, the countries. So when you click on a particular list, what will happen, the particular item in the list, according to that, these widgets are changing. So that means filtering. When you click on another one, again, this changing whole dashboard. Why we need this type of capability? Actually, when most of the cases, the dashboards are used by sometimes the decision makers, planning operations, that kind of activities. So that kind of activities, we always need to have easy way of querying data or selecting data or filtering data. We can't run several tools and do that. Maybe one click, maybe two click, we should be able to retrieve information. So otherwise it is not a dashboard. If you can't just get, if you have to run a query with SQL commands and everything, after that, if you are trying to get the answer, then it is taking time. So here, by clicking on it, you should be able to get certain information. So each country, you will find the values in the attribute table filtered when you are clicking on each one. Right. So this is a particular dashboard. So here also you can see some other widgets at the bottom, right? Several lists. So according to our creativity, so we can have a different type of visualization when it comes to dashboards. So it is not this dark view. We can have a lighter view, or we can use various colors. That is all about our design. Actually, we should understand the audience first. Before creating a dashboard, we should understand the audience, whether this is the message I want to tell. Can I put it in a proper way for the particular audience? So imagine you are creating a dashboard for the public. If you try to use so many complex charts, different algorithms and things like that, then people can't sometimes use this. It become complex. But when you have very simple widgets configured in a very attractive way, then it is always good. It is always good for the users. Right. So this dashboard, I think, was the most popular dashboard during last year. So the billions of hits per day. In actually last year, March and April season, they had billions of requests, the hits for day. So that was kind of a very heavy amount of hits. So this is about the kind of thing I just mentioned. Easy to understand. It should be able to give that message properly. Right. So I will go back to my slides. Okay. Another quality, it is kind of a ready-to-use application. So what is the meaning of ready-to-use? So there's a builder and widgets are available, pre-configured widgets, which we can take as building blocks and configure this dashboard. So you don't need to develop or the program from the scratch. So there are pre-configured widgets which we can configure and create a dashboard. So you do not need to be a dedicated programmer to do this. Even a non-programming person can do this configuration of a dashboard. But if you are skilled enough, you can always introduce the configurations more than and the customizations for that. So the creativity is the most important thing. So you should have a creative idea or creative way of presenting data for your audience, right? Then interactive. So we can have dashboard, but if it is not interactive means when you click on one item, it is changing the charts and other elements. So when you zoomed in for a certain place, it is changing the values. So that type of interactivity is important because when you have that, it is much easy for using, and also it is giving more insights. We can get kind of a broad picture about the particular incident or the particular thing. So that is important. And also flexibility. That means maybe the data. So maybe you are having different data sets. So based on the available attribute data, we can configure dashboards. Maybe initial level with the available data, we can have a dashboard. Later on, we can improve it. So there's a flexibility always behind the dashboard. So when you put data, when you have more attributes, you can introduce more features. So it is all about data, and we can represent data in different way, not only the map. Not only the map, we can have charts and things combined with that. Then it's a configurable. The configurable, the word representing, actually, we don't need to build this from the scratch. Why this is important? So there are applications, sometimes we have to build from the scratch because based on the requirement of the customer or the particular organization. So imagine a particular organization who is having a set of requirements. In some cases, we can fulfill that requirement using this type of configurable tool. Otherwise, we have to go into the maybe the development level from the scratch. Sometimes we have to develop certain dashboards, but it depends on the requirement of the customer or the requirement of the user, right? So here, the configurable applications are useful. Again, especially for like disaster situations or limited time situations, especially such situations, we cannot create, we cannot have huge development work. Sometimes within 2-3 hours, if we can deploy a dashboard, then it can be very useful for the situation. So that type of work, we can use dashboards, and it is easy for configuring. There are plenty of resources like the documentation, videos are available for this, and anyone can start configuring a dashboard by their own. Right. Again, in this particular dashboard, we are using the same platform I mentioned yesterday. we are using the platform here in ArcGIS. So the dashboards are stored in the web portal. This web portal as an item, as an application item. So in ArcMap or Arcgis Pro, we can create data and publish into the web portal. And from the web browsers, maybe the devices like tablets, we can access the dashboards with the configured data, right? So like this way, here you can see these things, these components can be effectively used for configuring our dashboards. Yes. So if we take more things about dashboards, yes, it is giving at a glance decision-making power. So this is kind of a tool which we can use for the decision-making activities because it is giving us a summary of what is happening in the outdoor environment. Maybe sometimes even real-time information can be connected to this particular dashboards. So then it will give you more insights. And totally kind of a browser-based app. So initially when the dashboards, this technology was introduced like 7-8 years ago, but that time there was a kind of a desktop-based dashboard, kind of an install tool. But nowadays, the dashboards are totally web-based. We can take data from different sources and combine them and present in the dashboard. Right. So we are using two different models to create dashboards. One model we called Arcgis Enterprise and the other model we called Arcgis Online, two different platforms. Enterprise means kind of on-premises model. That means maybe in a particular organization, within the organization, that kind of environment, we can create dashboards using the enterprise platform, and also maybe in the cloud platform, not in your premises, but cloud platform we can use for creating dashboards. Right. Okay, we will look at some dashboards, then you will realize some of the information. Right. So here again, this description about Arcgis Online and Enterprise. So online is like software as a service. We can have an account and have the dashboard. So I mentioned you can create an account using Arcgis, and you can always try this dashboard application, dashboard app. So what is the workflow behind this dashboard? So we have to understand this. So you may have data, right? You may have data. So you may using Arcgis Online or Arcgis Enterprise, one of these models. You should have data. Then data will become, we have to publish data into a web platform. Then it will become a web layer, right? So imagine you want to have a district or the population distribution map of Sri Lanka. So then the data, maybe you need to create those shape files, or maybe you have to join data from another source like Excel. So first we have to prepare the data. So that part we have to use maybe a desktop GIS software. Then after that, we can publish this into the web environment. So one of these environments, right? We can publish the data sets. Then what you have to do, we have to create a web map. So after adding these layers, we have to have a web map. From the web map, we can create dashboards. So it's kind of a workflow, right? So straight away, we can't create that. We should have data layers in a web map. Then we can refer that as the building block or the source for this dashboard and configure other tools. We call them widgets. So that is the workflow, but there are various other exceptions also, right? So we discussed about the data sources. So here you can see different web layers. So in this John Hopkins COVID dashboard, so there are different data sources. Some data sets coming from kind of automated mechanisms. So certain countries, they have automated way of collecting data that is directly coming to the dashboard. But some cases, since this is a kind of global application, some cases the dashboard data is not automated, maybe semi-automated. In some cases, the manual entered data available for certain countries. So however, they are putting everything together to have that dashboard. So then what are the data we can use? So we can upload maybe a simple way. We can upload the CSV file, Excel file, maybe kind of a Google sheet, and publish it in the web environment, web portal. And we can have a layer for the dashboard. So that's a one option. So the other one is we can use the software like ArcMap or Arcgis Pro to publish data. We can create data from there and publish. Then after publishing, it can be used as a web layer, and it will be easy for using at the dashboard environment. And also the data collection apps like Survey 123, that data layers, which we have visualized even yesterday, we mentioned about those data. So that kind of data layer can be configured into a dashboard to monitor the field level data collection. So those things we can do with the dashboard configuration. Okay. So let me go back to some of the examples. Okay. So I would like to show you a kind of a small video. I think, let's see. Okay. So I will share kind of a small video first. So there are different organizations using dashboards for different purposes, right? It is not only for health related things. So it is not limited for any industry. Any industry can use dashboards based on their requirement. So I would like to share a video first. Let's see. So I would like to play that. Can you hear sound? Or do you have any difficulties?
Sir?
Yeah.
So we cannot hear the audio.
So I just shared it. Is there anything else I can do?
So when you sharing, if you can enable share sound option, it would work.
Where I can enable that when I'm
First you have to stop the share and then try to share it again. So and at the bottom of the share screen, you can see share
okay.
sound.
Oh, share sound. Okay, I can see that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you for giving that.
Okay. Yeah. Sir.
Let's see. I that way. Can you hear that sound?
Yes. Works. Fine.
Great.
I always tell people that Baton Rouge is a mid-sized city with big city problems. In 2016, there was an assault on the local police, and one of the officers killed was my cousin. That drove me to get in touch with the police department and ultimately provide assistance where I could with my knowledge of GIS. Esri's dashboards, overall, it's a paradigm shift in how policing is done. Putting the information into the hands of the people that need it when they need it. Really giving them the opportunity to proactively police and reduce violent crime instantaneously. One of the first dashboards that we made was the daily operations. That's open and active 911 calls. It's also your active vehicle location, so where the officers are. It allows commanders to see where their resources are, where the incidents are occurring in real time, and how to respond best. The COP dashboard was built with the intention of the weekly commanders meeting. When Chief Paul talks to his district commanders, each commander can highlight what operations they've been doing and what effect that has had. Is this working? Should we keep doing it? Or maybe try something else? It's been used as far as just directing patrols, but also with large-scale operations. The risk-based policing dashboard uses the risk terrain model to really understand what's the crime attractors within a community. When we run the model, you get your areas of elevated risk of crime. This really helps understand what's attracting crime to these hotspots and what's making them persist over time. Once you make that area unattractive to the criminal element, where they're doing directed patrols at the highest risk locations, you're reducing the risk of crime happening there before it has even had a chance to recur. Whereas traditional policing methods, you have to wait for a string of burglaries to occur before you can respond to them. It's helping drive department policy. It's getting ready to be added to the police academy. The capabilities of the police department have been greatly enhanced in ways that were never possible before.
Okay, that's about a particular application industry. So especially to monitor the crime-related data, the dashboards are used in different way. So in this case, have you seen that dashboards are usually kept in kind of large screens, right? Not in like small screens. It is good for the large screen views. People can interactively handle those things. So that is the whole idea, right? So we can go through some more examples. So let me go through some more examples. So this one, I think we have already discussed. So there's another one here. So now this dashboard is different. So it is the topic of this dashboard. You can see it's related to another disease, Ebola, right? So there are charts. These widgets we call chart widgets. So this is the interactive map, right? So interactive map, you can see some cases here. So when you click on it in a particular red dot, you will find the attribute details, the attribute information, right? So again, this side you can see another chart, another pie chart, and there's legend here at the bottom, right? You can get the idea of these colors and these line charts, right? So likewise, this is having a different view, and also it is having a light theme, lighter color theme. So this one is having kind of a dark color theme. And also we call this top at the heading, you will find something, some kind of a name or the title of the dashboard. So this area we call header. Here also you will find another header, but it is different. And header you will find a title, and also maybe you can have a subtitle, right? So these things we call widgets. Here we are looking at the chart widget, right? Okay. So this is a different application now. So we went through several applications. One we just mentioned about this COVID, then another disease related one. And here, again, this is another one, but it's a different one related to another particular application. So you can see when you zoom in, when you pan the map, the information, certain information in the right-hand side, updating, changing. So here you can see certain indicators. So this type of widget we call a gauge, right? A gauge that is kind of a meter, right? You can, when you zoomed in, zoom out, you will find it is changing, right? Now you can see it has changed, right? So when you are zooming map, when you are moving map here and there, the values are changing. It's another one. So this one related to active fire and hotspots. So we can see various fire and hotspot related information. So when you zoomed in, here you can see the change. These things are changing, right? These charts are changing, and also there are some individual events. When you click on that, it will zoom to that particular place. It will zoom to that place. So when you click on that, when you click again, it will go back to the normal level. So when you click on a particular record, it will zoom to that. And again, we can click on the same thing, we will zoom out. So I would like to share this link also. So you can copy these links in the chat window, right? So you can get some idea. So I think one. Okay, so so this is a different dashboard. So I would like to share this link also. Okay, we will move to another one. Let's see. Again, this is a different one. So you can see some colors in the background. So these widgets actually changed with some other colors. So filled by different colors. And this structure is different. Some charts are here. The maps are here. So it is related with some kind of West African development indicators, right? It's kind of a indicating dashboard. So last few things, actually these things related to monitoring applications, certain monitoring things, right? So these things kind of giving us kind of an idea for monitor. And this one is giving kind of a information progress kind of thing, activity, right? So here you can see again a list, but it is in a different way. It is not interactive one here. You can just click and see. These charts, when you take your mouse pointer, you can see various values in the chart. So again, the map also, it is just like a kind of a static map. You can get the country colors, right? So some simple things configured here, right? So I'll go back to another one. Yes, this is a different one, right? So it's related to kind of with the coastal related some information. So here you can see some information here, right? So ocean health score, kind of again monitoring application. So when you zoomed in, you will find layers, right? Different layers. When you click on certain polygons, you will find information on those things. And there are some charts here. This is again kind of a bar chart. And here you can see the list of polygons. One by one, you can click and zoom and identify details, right? Okay, this is again a different one. So this is a different industry again. Here you can see kind of power outages. So maybe the power outages in certain places, certain summaries are there, right? So total customers without power here. Then some other summary information. And here we can see certain areas we can select. And the map is zooming according to that, right? And also this area, this top area, you will find some information like this. So here there are some more filters, right? More filters, we can use these filters to drill down into our data. We can focus our data, right? So it is selecting that particular area, then according to the area, you will find information. So we can remove back by clicking on all, then you can remove back. So I will share this one also. Right. Okay, this is again a different one, totally different industry again. It's related to stormwater infrastructure, right? Stormwater infrastructure. So we can zoom in and see what is this about. So here you can see some kind of a utility related network. So normally in most of your GIS interactions, you may have used GIS as lines, points, polygons. But there are advanced things when it comes to utilities. The utilities mean water utilities like water board in Sri Lanka. They are having utilities, electricity and gas networks. Some countries, they are having gas utility network. So there are even the telco side, there are utility networks. So this type of utility network, in GIS, there should be a connectivity. They are not just lines. So if you take a road layer, when you are using GIS, those roads are line features. Sometimes you don't know whether they are connected or not. But for a utility application, there are special features in GIS. We have to understand the quality of the data, maintain the quality of the data. Each line should be connected. Say, for example, the actual reality also, you can see a pipe network is connected by various sockets, maybe valves, different meters. So there's nothing without connectivity. So same connectivity can be modeled when we are using in GIS, and this type of networks can be created. So here you can see kind of a network. So this case, this is regarding the storm water. So certain small stormwater management related information you can identify on this dashboard. So here we can pan map here and there, then you will find this graphs and things changing according to that. So I would like to share this link also. You can copy these things and refer them later, right? So you can refer those things later. And you can take your own ideas, right? Without using the same thing, you can get some ideas from them. And when you are creating a dashboard, you can apply that in your own way without using the same manner, right? Here, again, another industry, the wildlife, I think wildlife, yes, wildlife related some information. So here you can see some data in the map and also the charts. Sometimes even these charts can be interactively connect with the map, right? So this case, it's like a static one. Here we can see some filters. So when you select the year, you can see the charts and these things, other elements are changing. The reason is this filter and this chart is having kind of a relationship called actions. So there are actions enabled with this widget. That's the reason. That's why this is changing according to that when you are clicking on this one. So there's another one, date picker also there, right? So you can pick the date and see. Yes. And we can clear them also. Right. Okay. So we went through several examples now. Again, this is related to urban heat, right? Urban heat. So in Sri Lanka also we are doing analysis on this, but we can think about presenting data using dashboards. When you presenting data in such a way, then people can understand, right? So otherwise, most of the time we are preparing articles and publications, but we can try to present data in a different way. Maybe certain people can you can get the attention of them and have good implementations of the research work or the applications. Not only stopping there after research, maybe you can go another step forward. So think about these things, some interactive tools. So what I will do here, I will share the dashboard gallery, right? Whole gallery. Some of them I have picked from there. So I would like to share that gallery with you. Okay. So do you have any questions? Okay. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, we can continue. So now we can create a dashboard by our own, right? So first of all, we need to have kind of an WebGIS account. So yesterday we have used an account called Arcgis Online. So I will use the same account here. So if you don't have an account, actually you can go into this Arcgis Online. And you can try, there's a sign in button. You can try to create an account, right? So here there's an option called create account, right? Create account. So there are different types of accounts. So try to create the commercial account, right? Commercial account, or you can use that Learn ArcGIS account. So I will also share that link, student account link. Just give me a second. I would like to share a small link with you. So using one of those options, you can have kind of a account to try this one. I would like to go back to the web browser. So in my case, first you have to sign in. So after creating an account, you will get this type of sign in. So you have to use your username and password to enter or log into the system. So that is the first requirement. Then after that, you will find your web portal, maybe in different way. This one we have customized in our own manner, but you will find different web portals, right? So let me Okay, I think I have shared this web portal also, I think from the Department of Archaeology. Another web portal, so at the bottom you will find this one. So according to the organizational theme, we can have different web portals. Here also you can visualize. So their official website, you can go to this web portal in the department's official website. So at the bottom, you will find a web portal. There you will find a dashboard. So it is about the different data maintained in the system district-wise, kind of a summary information. So here you can see the interactiveness of the dashboard. When you click on a particular district, it will filter the data. It is filtering the data. We can click all, then it will load all data. And according to that, the summaries, this gauge is changing, right? Like this way. So this is a Sri Lankan one. I will just share with you, right? Okay, so different web portals are there. So every web portal, there's a sign-in option like this. So you can sign in. So in this case, I have already signed in. So I will go into my content. So dashboards can be accessed in different places. There's app launcher here. From this launcher, you can access dashboards, or you can go to the content and create some data and start creating a dashboard. So this particular tab, we can upload data, right? We can upload some data. So here there's an option called new item. This type of option we can always use to upload certain information like from your computer, maybe Google Drive, maybe different sources you can upload data. So I will just show you how to upload a data set. Go to my desktop, session 3. So there are some districts. So I can upload that. So here, when you're uploading that kind of shapefile, we can convert that into a kind of a service called feature service, right? So we call them hosted feature layer, something hosted in our account. So that should be a requirement. So we have to first upload a file and converted that into a hosted feature layer. So that should be the first requirement. So like this way, if you say next, it will try to create this one. So I'm already having a file with the same name. So then it will give me kind of an error, but I will just show you how to do that. So here it is giving error because I'm already having the same file. Okay, so this way we can publish the data into this environment. That's a one method. There are some other methods also to publish data into this type of environment. So we can use a kind of a software, GIS software, and upload data, right? That is also possible. So I will, give me a second, I will show you a map. Okay. So this type of, here you can see a GIS software here. We call this Arcgis Pro. So this is a kind of a new software platform. So this type of software also, so if we have data like this way, we can quickly symbolize it maybe according to various features, right? So here we will just symbolize in a simple way, categorize data, maybe based on district names. So this type of data we can actually publish from, after creating everything, we can publish to the web environment. For that, first we have to connect with the web portal. So we have to sign in. So again, the same concept, we can connect with the web portal, right? So there is an option called managing web portals here. So here you can see different portals. Web portals can be connected to here, this particular environment. Then after that, we can publish data. So there's a menu called sharing menu. So here you will find a sharing option called web map and web layer. So from this kind of a desktop software, we can publish data like we publish data into content area. It will do the same thing, but from a software. So in this limited time, I will not going to do that. Okay. So I would like to go back to my web browser. So there are multiple methods of taking or the publishing data into the content panel. So when you have a feature layer, it will be like this with this color, and it will say feature layer hosted. So we can click on this layer. So this layer, it's just a file, some districts, but these districts are not the general administrative districts in Sri Lanka. Certain districts related to the health sector, because some districts are divided into certain parts, like Ampara divided into 2 parts when it comes to the management of that particular industry, right? That is particular organization, right? So there's a similar file like that, right? Okay. So now we have to go back to our workflow, right? Workflow. What is the workflow? If I go back to my slides, so this is the work. We should have some data. It could be shapefile, it could be geodatabase feature class, maybe CSV file. There should be a data, kind of a data set. Then the next step is to have a web layer. Now we are having a web layer. I mentioned 2 different mechanisms of publishing layer. One is using the content panel of the web portal, we can upload the layer. The other method is we can use a GIS software like Arcgis Pro, even ArcMap, we can do this. We can publish data into a web environment. Then we will have web layers. So after that, we have to have a web map, right? So we have to create a web map, then only we can go to the dashboard. So this is the workflow. So next step is to create a web map. Right. Let's go to the web map area. Right. So this layer interface, we can immediately go to the web map. The right-hand side, there's an option called Open in Map Viewer Classic or New Map Viewer, we will go to the Classic option to visualize this data. So it's a district layer. Here, again, it is having this information. I think we discussed these things earlier. So there's a table, attribute table. So we can open it and see. It's like this. Some information. So I would like to mention where I have taken this information, right? So that is also important. Let's see. Okay, I would like to share the screen again. So I have used this kind of report from the daily report. There's a daily report called Situational Report related to COVID incidents. So there's a table here. So this table, so this report, it is just a table, right? Just a table. So this report, it is having some information like this. So district names are there, first wave, second wave, third wave, and total number of COVID cases. So this type of table we can take into the Excel, and then what we can do? We can actually join that data into a shapefile. We can join that data. So why we need to join it, right? So because so the district layer may not have all the required information. So we have to join certain information, then when only we will have full value of the data. So let's see. So I would like to give you that idea also. Let's see. So first I will share the desktop GIS software environment. So sometimes, so we will have data in this type of Excel, right? Excel sheets, right? So when we have data in that manner, first thing we have to have a relationship between this polygon and the sheet. So I will add a sheet here. So I will open it like this way, right? So here you can see these districts, that table, which I have demonstrated in the report. It's a table, In addition to the table, we have put another column here called ID. In Excel, you can do that by easily adding a new column, and you have to give a particular ID for these districts. So that's one requirement, right? So that's one requirement. We have to do that thing. Then what we have to do? So this is related to data preparation, right? So data preparation, we need to get the understanding how we have integrated this data. So this is the file, that shape file. In this case, this is a geodatabase file. This one is also having some information, right? Some information. So here you can see something like this ID column. So that means in your file, you should have a common ID field to join external tables, right? External tables. Why we are doing this thing? To have that table information linked with the shapefile or the spatial data which you are using. Not only the shapefiles, maybe geodatabases, feature classes, we are doing the same thing. So then we can join these ID columns together from the Excel, that Excel ID as well as this one. So I will quickly show you that thing then. So there's an option in these software platforms, joins and related. We can add a join. Here, we have to select the common field ID. And again, we have to select from the Excel sheet, the ID column. Then we can click OK and see. So when you open the attribute table, now you can see two ID columns joined together. So that way we can take that data into the same attribute table, right? So that's how I have created that particular layer. So this is kind of additional thing. So even one by one typing, you can add in columns and do this, but it is easy when it comes to the external data sheets. If we can have a relationship, it could be districts, it could be like DS divisions, whatever the divisions, maybe point data. Even when you're using a questionnaire, maybe you are having household level locations. Imagine you have done a household level questionnaire survey. Then the points can be joined with your Excel tables. So there are different ways of doing this. So however, you should have, the important part is different attribute data. Then only we can create wonderful dashboards, right? So we have to have different types of data. Okay, so this is just additional thing for you. Then we will go back to the dashboard environment. So that's how this information, these attributes taken into this particular file, right? Okay. So what we can do based on the data, we can do various things. One thing is we can symbolize the data. We can change the style. So without looking at the single color, we can change the style. Here there are options like we can have, I think we can have total. Based on the total number, we can have a map. So now you are looking at the map, but it's kind of graduated symbols. So different sizes, symbols representing the amount. So instead of that, we will use a color. Here there's an option called color. We'll go to that option. Then there are more options here. You can select the color ramp like this. So if required, you can classify the data. Likewise, you can change the data set. You can change the appearance of the data, right? And also, you can check the pop-up. So here you can see first wave, second wave with some underscores and things. So if it is not nice, there's an option called configure pop-up. Configure pop-up to get some nice look into the data. Here, configure pop-up. So you can change, you can't change the field name, you can change the field alias here, like this way. So you can type anything. I'm just removing these underscore values. So if required, you can hide certain columns. Here, we can hide them. So you can keep that name, right? Okay. So like this way, we can have a pop-up, right? This way, right? Okay. So I did quick changes. So if required, you can also do some labeling, create labels. So I will change some labeling here, styles. And also size of the label. Like this way. And background map. So we can always change this background map, right? We can use various maps. So I will use this dark color one. Then it's much better, right? Okay, likewise, we can symbolize the data, right? You can have labels. You can use various displaying techniques to have this appearance. Then what we have to do, the important thing, in the workflow, we have learned we have to have a web map. Still, we have only symbolized a layer. We haven't saved it. So the first requirement, we have to save this. So then we can have a name, right? So I will put 2 here. Then we have to put something important here, tags. Tags mean kind of a keyword. So you can put that keyword like this way. Then we can save that map. So now you can see the map has been saved, right? With the name, right? So now you can see this name. So if you examine this content area, so I will go back to that content area. You should be able to find out this item, this dashboard map. So this is a web map. So now we have fulfilled that option called creating a web map. That's fine. So do you have any difficulties? So I will also share you that layer. You can try that with your own. So I have shared that shape file, the zip shape file for you. You can try that later, right? Okay, any questions? Okay, then after saving and everything, we can share this map. So we can share this with different levels of audience. So everyone with public or maybe within a group, we can do that. So this case, we are doing something like this, creating a web application. So there are different types of applications. Some applications, we can just use templates. Then there's app builders, which we can try. This case, we will try the dashboard. So I will use the same name and I will click done option. So it will load a kind of a builder environment. So it will load an environment called dashboard builder. So it's like a map, but you can see some tools here, right? Some tools here and there, right? So we can insert certain tools, widgets from here and there and create the dashboard now. Let's see. So before I will start from this, the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. So here there are two themes. In these three dots, you will find two themes, dark and light. So we can have dark theme or light theme. So I will have a dark theme because these colors are much they're appearing better in a dark theme, right? So when you do changes, you have to actually save. There's option called save here. You can save. And there are settings, more settings related to the dashboard. So we will add certain things and see. First, I want to have a header. On top of this area, I want to have a header. So we can insert a header here. Header means kind of a small panel with the title. So we can use the same title or without these things, we can copy paste a different title, right? You can type here. You can remove this like this way, right? So whatever the way you can configure it, right? So then without just having these things, if required, we can do certain other changes. So here you can visualize the changes, this panel, and left-hand side, you will see settings. So if required, you can add subtitle also, right? You can add the subtitle below this. And also you can have subtitle placement maybe below. So let's see. Workshop. I just use that. So if we say bottom, then it will right like this way. We can have a subtitle, right? Then what you can do? So this text color we can change. So we can have some luminex colors like this. When we are having dark theme, like this way we can change. And if required, even background color can be changed. It's not suitable, right? So, or you can copy paste kind of a hexadecimal value. That means kind of a color value. You can pick from the internet and paste it. I will just use the dark color here, right? Okay. So whatever the color you can try. Then there are options here. If required, you can have image. Instead of these colors, you can have an image into your header. Then there should be a link to that image URL. So if you have an image, you can try that. I'm going to try an icon, just an icon, right? So there are different icons here and there. So we can try a suitable icon for this case. You can select from this list. There are some other icons also, right? Or you can have custom things. I will use this icon. And also we can change the colors like this way. Now we are having a header with this type of configuration. Right. Then what you can do? We can add different widgets, panels into the dashboard. We can do that. From where we can add? Actually, we can use here in this drop down, you will find different types of widgets. So I would like to add kind of an indicator first, indicator like that Johns Hopkins University dashboard. So I want to add some indicator. So I will add that indicator. Then it is asking us to pick up a layer. So we are only having a one layer. So we will select. So it is telling me something like 26. So let's see. So this left-hand side, we can do configurations. We can do configurations. So there are configuring options, data, indicator, general. Likewise, there are tabs for different configurations. We can modify this. So this is data tab. This is the other one. Again, another one, data. Here we can have certain statistics. Here you can see count of these IDs. So we have 26 polygons. I told you one district has been split to 2 polygons due to certain administrative purposes. So here we can select sum because we want to have a sum of not these IDs, we should select something like this. Maybe the total number of cases. Like this way. Then the second tab, so we can have different text, maybe top text. We can have a top text, bottom text, likewise. So like total cases. Maybe we can have a small size there, and we can have a different color. Right? So the middle part, you can have another color. Right? And maybe the bottom part, you can have another text like this way. And we can have this widget here. Actually, we can resize. There are this type of holders. You can resize this nicely here and there. Then we can save it. Let's see what we can do else. So I would like to add another one, maybe a pie chart. A pie chart. So we can select this. So there are different options. Each widget, we have different options here. So here you can see the tabs are different now. So first tab, usually we are going into the data tab where we have to configure attribute fields. Here I'm going to select a category axis. For this case, I will select all the districts, right? So then immediately it has colored these districts. Then this tab, general tab, we can place a title for this chart. So we can place a title. Cases by district. So you can bold it. There are text editing options you can try. Maybe if required, you can center it. Or even you can have different, I think different colors, sizes, maybe different sizes for this heading section. You can enter and put some spaces. So various editing can be done in this general section, like this way. But I feel something is not correct here in the chart. So if I want to redo something, you can always go to, there's a blue color highlighter here. We can always point out in mouse pointer there. Then we can say configure. There are several buttons. We can say configure. Configure. Here we can check something. So here it is only saying the count. The category axis is fine, districts, but statistics are not correct. So we don't need the count of these FIDs. We need to have the count of, maybe not the count, we will use the sum of the cases, total number of cases. Maybe like this way. So let's see. Like this way, right? So now you can see some districts you have higher number of cases. So we can have some interactive ability to these maps. I'll go back to the configure. So there's a thing called actions. So these actions we can configure filters. Filter like this. We can filter the map or the divisions like this. Districts. So I will reduce this one a little bit. The size, I think then it will be much better, right? So I have done a small filtering here, right? So when you click on a district, what will happen? The district will be filtered. In the chart, when you click on a particular district, it will be filtered. I just did only one thing here. I went to these actions and set a filter. Okay. So like this way. So now we have a dashboard with some widgets. So I will insert another widget here. We can insert maybe a list. A list widget. So it's a list. We can have the name for the list. Districts. We'll change the color a little bit. And also the size. The size also we can change. Okay, but list is not indicating the names. It is just indicating some numbers. So we can check the tab in the list. So it is giving us information about FID, the ID column. So instead of the ID column, we have to select the correct one, I think. So this is the column name. I just put the column name there within curly brackets. Then it is detected. And if you have another one, if you want to indicate another one, maybe within curly bracket, maybe I don't know whether total will work. So we can put it like this way, total, right? So it's just a small kind of text editing. You can have this in a different way, right? So we can click OK to have the list. Like this way. Right. We can resize and check, but it's not like the other dashboards. It is not changing anything. Just selecting with blue color. We can do something again. Any widget, we can configure it again, right? Here, there's an option for configuring. We can configure again. We can set some actions, some interactive capabilities. Here we can add maybe a zooming capability. Like this, we can zoom into the map. Maybe also maybe filtering, we can show the pop-up in the map. So even we can filter and we can filter the layer. So it's a regular pattern. When you try to use this dashboard, you will easily identify these abilities. So the capability, when you click on it, it should zoom into the area, and also it will give us a pop-up. So if it is not fine, we can again go to the configure and change these settings. And here, this data, actually this data is not sorted, right? There's no ascending or descending order. So we can sort data. Again, I will use the total cases. I'm going to use the descending order. Then it is much better, right? So I can see the Colombo. So immediately map will zoom to that area, and also it will give us the pop-up, right? Okay. So like this way, we have to configure these widgets. The important part is the creativity of your dashboard. So how you are going to create or configure these widgets. Then, so imagine we want to have another one, like maybe a serial chart. You can select the chart. So this time I will use a different option in the chart fields. So we will try to add some maybe features. We can have a category field like district field, and maybe we can have series, first wave, maybe second wave, maybe a third wave. Like this way we can add, right? So this one is having more axis information. So category axis, we can have a title, districts, then value axis, number of cases, the guides series, right? Here you can see maybe different colors, right? So we can change and see. Let's see whether we can add some darker colors like this way, right? So we can do various other changes also, right? So here column line charts. So this case we have to use column one because it is related to certain time periods. Yes. So according to the data, we have to have the proper way of having this chart. So we can just click OK and see. So it has come here. But what I will do, we can drag our widgets here and there. We can drag an item and drag it and place it somewhere else. And also we can reduce the size. You can check whether it is okay, right? So like this way, we can save it. Okay, now we are having kind of a dashboard. So you can add more and more widgets. There are other widgets we can add, descriptions and some kind of other options are available. So within a limited time period, if we have data, we can configure this type of tool, right? And also what we can do further, if required, we can add the gauge also. Its gauge means something like this. It's like there are different styles of gauges. Here you can identify a meter type one, meter, or this type of gauge. So you can have different things, half a donut, full widget, half donut. So there are different styles, right? So if required, you can add those things. Here again, this statistics. So this is count. So if you have something else, maybe sum of the total or the first wave. So it will be like this, but maybe sometimes we have to change these total values. Otherwise, it won't give you the proper picture, right? Like this way. And there are ways of configuring the total value. So here also this can be taken maybe into another side. So what you can do, maybe we can put this chart into this area, right? Maybe taking this widget out of there and putting it here, right? So likewise, we can configure and order according to the visualizing ability. We can adjust and see, right? Okay. So if you want, you can add more widgets on top of each other. So if you want to add another gauge, so maybe you can put that on top of the other. That is also possible, right? So when you add, you can add the legend widget. So if it is hiding your things, what you can do, you can add it into the bottom slot. Then you will find two items. Here, you can have the legend, or if you don't want to have there, you can take it into this area, right? So like this way. Okay. So different widgets can be placed according to our requirement, right? Okay, let's see. Hope this is fine. So if everything is okay, we can save it. So where is this item? So we can check this. We can go into our organization, right? And go to our content and see whether there's a new item called dashboard. So here you can see our dashboard, right? So we can open it. Okay, now actually, if required, you want to change it again, right? We can edit it again and again and modify the dashboard. So if you want to share with other people, we can share it. So imagine I want to share with everyone. So I will use this everyone option and save. And there's a link here. There's a link, right? You can copy this. Or even when you click the view dashboard, it will load. So first I will try to load it. So I would like to use a different place, but here you can see something has not shared properly. That's why it is giving this sign in command. So we have to check whether everything has shared properly. Sometimes this has been shared, but maybe some other items not shared properly. So we have to be careful. So maybe the map and also these divisions. So this map has been not shared here. It is not shared. It is only belong to the owner. So I can share that also with public like this. So there are three items now here. This is the data sheet. Then there's a map. There's the dashboard based on that. So I will check my dashboard. I can refresh this window and see whether it is accessible, right? So if it is not shared, you can't access it properly, right? So same time, I would like to share this with you because it's a public one. So we can share it with you without any issue. You can just click and see. You should be able to open my dashboard. And you can always click and see these configurations. Right. Okay. So that's how we can create a dashboard using this particular platform. The whole idea is to have a quick deployable application. So that's the whole idea, right? So so there are a few other things I would like to mention. So I will quickly go back to the slides. So in a WebGIS system, right? So we discussed about WebGIS related things. So there are different life cycles. Here there's one life cycle. The important thing is the requirement analysis. So there should be a requirement. Then organization, we should have identified the requirement. Then we can design a conceptual thing because imagine somebody wants to have a dashboard like this. Then we have to identify what are the data we need to have in the dashboard. And also who are going to use this. It is internal or external one. So likewise, we have to check these things. Then we have to check whether we are going to implement it in their own organization or maybe the cloud platform. If it is in own environment, maybe we have to think about hardware side, software side. We have to plan those things. Then the database, maybe the different data, design things, we have to consider those things. Then if required, actually the certain levels, sometimes there are very complex data models. So we have to align with that kind of data models to have the proper outcomes. Then we have to acquire necessary things like software, hardware. So there's a process for that. We have to think about those things. Then a WebGIS system, if there are integrations with other systems, like sometimes real-time data can be integrated into dashboards. Such things can be done, but we have to figure out those integrations and we have to measure that workload, those things. Then configurations like this, or sometimes if the user wants to have a totally customized dashboard, then we have to think about developing applications. Then definitely we have to test it because before putting into the public, sometimes we have to just test that. Especially when we are developing, we have to have debugging and check the coding level. Even the configured application, we have to check that it is working properly. Then we can release that like this way. And again, we have to think about for the future, the sustainability of the application. Those things have to be considered, like maintenance of the application. That means maybe there should be a vision for the future. It should not be a one-time deployment, right? So there are dedicated specialized teams, specialized organizations for that. So we have to take that advantage. So likewise, we have to have proper methods. Then we can implement different types of application. In our scenario, we are using desktop applications and in-house WebGIS systems as well as cloud-based WebGIS systems based on the requirements and the facilities of the organizations. Right. Okay. So two different models we have to always consider about the data policies of the organization before going into the cloud model or the enterprise model. We have to consider those things and also the facilities availability. Some organizations only having limited facilities. So it is difficult to have kind of very sophisticated servers inside that organization. So those things we have to consider before going into the actual implementation. So likewise, it is not just a one-time thing. Sometimes for several years with kind of improvement should be there, training should be done, and it should become kind of a sustainable system for that particular organization. So we have to have that kind of when we are putting systems into the organizations. Okay. So with that, I would like to conclude this session. Right. So do you have any questions regarding this topic or the dashboards? So this is the good time for asking those questions. So even chat window, you can send questions. So I will share our contact details also, right? I think the workshop coordinators, you can take them, and also I think there are virtual items, you can take stalls and things like that. So anyway, I would like to share our contacts. So if you need anything to learn or anything further, you can just drop us an email or just give us a call. So if you are free, we will definitely help you. So okay. So if you don't have any questions, I think we can wrap up the session. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So now it's time to deliver the vote of thanks. So I would like to invite Dr. Saman Koswatha, coordinator of the workshop and the head of the Department of Remote Sensing and GIS, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Yes, thanks, Dhananjay, and good evening to everyone. It is extremely delighted to see a happy ending in this story of the workshop, getting to know Arcgis online tools and apps. As mentioned in the first day, as you realize through your learning journey through this workshop, the history online tools and apps related to your maybe work or maybe studies. Those applications are extremely useful. As Mr. Sukun and Ms. Samanmali said, now already realized the use of these all tools we have with S3 Arcgis products. And here, I must thank everyone who contributed in various ways to make this event a success, especially the academic support and non-academic staff of the Faculty of Geomatics, and our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ratnayaka, and Mr. Vipula Beratna, Dean of the Faculty of Geomatics, and Dr. Sankar, who is the coordinator of this GeoWeek event. And also my special thanks goes to Ms. Ashani Jayasingh, the Chief CEO of GIS Solutions Private Limited, Mr. Lloyd Pereira, Senior Manager, Key Accountants, and Customer Support of GIS Solutions for their wonderful support provided for us for organizing this thing and other various days in the GeoWeek program. And also next, my sincere thanks goes to the resource persons of this workshop, Mr. Supun Sitiwardana, and who's Assistant General Manager, GIS Solutions Private Limited, Ms. Samanmali Matharachi, GIS Trainer, and analysts of this GIS Solutions for their untiring efforts and sharing their valuable knowledge and experience throughout these 3 workshops. Thank you very much for your wonderful support. Then I must thank the people who worked very hard behind this, behind the scene, who work in the background, the technical team and the conveners, including Mr. Charit, Mr. Rehan, Mr. Gayan, Ms. Manmi and Ms. Dhananji. Thank you very much for your dedications and untiring support. Without that, this story may not be a successful one. And last but not least, I must thank all the participants came from all around the country. Maybe there may be foreign participants even. I didn't check. Thank you very much for spending time with us. And also thanks for working in the GIS field. You are GIS enthusiasts. You know, you do a lot to make this field, interesting field, a popular one, and working on that to enhance its maybe different areas. You might doing research. Thanks for doing all this work. And we are hoping to meet you again, maybe future events like this. We are planning to organize many GIS related events as the Department of Remote Sensing and GIS, maybe as the Faculty of Geomatics. And we hope you may join with us in these future events. And thanks everyone. Wish you all a good day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Koswatha. So once again, our sincere gratitude to GIS Solutions Private Limited team for being with us for all these 3 days and sharing your precious knowledge with us. So we hope that you all will stay with us till the end of GeoWeek 2021. So on that note, we wrap up the session and thank you all. Stay safe.